VWAP is favoring bearish, bringing momentum lower. Our momentum does have a red dot. RSI is coming back down, so I would exercise caution. Things aren't looking too good there for the daily. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a potential head and shoulders where we have a shoulder has a little bit more caution. We do technically have a lower high with lower lows, so we do see a little bit of a bearish trend starting to form after that bearish pattern, causing VWAP to favor in the bearish territory, bringing that momentum lower and causing that money flow to start to head back down. If that VWAP stays in the bearish territory or don't know why things are freezing up on us right here. There we go. Over on big futures for the daily. Does look like we are pretty indecisive here as well. Momentum is pretty flat with a double red dot. VWAP wants to pull back and money flow is trying to break into the green, but starting to struggle. So I would exercise caution there. Over on the 1 hour, we do have some sideways action. We do potentially still have a rising triangle here. We did cover a rising triangle in our Discord, or actually, this may be more of a wedge. So here on futures, it does look, or it looks like it turned more into a rising wedge, and a rising wedge is not a good pattern. That would bring you back down, which could bring us down toward that 95K. Overall, still staying with higher lows and higher highs. Hopefully, if we can bounce off that range in the bigger scheme of things. Our stochastic is starting to pull back. We do have that orange above blue. So we have a bearish cross bringing RSI lower, which will cause price to drop down if this maintains. That VWAP is breaking bearish, so I would watch. We may see an early breakdown, and at which point that would also change our breakdown point, because if we got an early breakdown, that would bring us more in line with the MPP projection of around 94K. VWAP is starting to break down though, so again, exercise caution and watch close. If that VWAP continues to push down, price action likely is going to follow. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we tried to get a bullish pattern break up, but we were unsuccessful in holding that pattern. Our stochastic is pulling back, momentum is starting to weaken, our VWAP is in bearish territory, and money flow is in the green, but if that VWAP does not reverse soon, we will see momentum lead money flow lower. Over on the 1 hour, we got our breakout. We got a green candle. We came back down for the retest. Remember that retest is the critical point, because if you would have bought in hoping for this maximum gain, you would have lost out because you didn't wait for your retest. That retest fell through and we did not hold our bullish pattern. That was kind of an indicator there that we may see lower price action. Now, we do have a potential long lower shadow candle forming here, which could be positive and help push us forward. VWAP does have a lower low though after a lower high, so I would watch that VWAP. If it continues to favor bearish here, momentum is going to continue to weaken, stochastic and RSI are going to drop, and price is going to continue to drop, weakening this daily and pushing us lower. Over on graph for the daily, looks like we have some indecision here as well. Tried to push up, but the bears gained control, and that's what this long upper shadow shows. Bulls tried to step in and push us up, but the bears stepped in and just dropped us down. Stochastic is starting to pull back. Momentum is running. That VWAP is in bearish territory, so I would watch. If that VWAP continues to drop down here, momentum will continue lower, and money flow likely would reject. Over on the 1 hour, it looks like we are trying to get some higher lows with higher highs overall. But again, watch these highs and lows. We do not want them to connect, because when they connect like this, that does create a rising channel. And a rising channel does tend to bring you back down. So I would exercise caution. But if we can make a bounce here, we do still have a chance to invalidate this pattern. But we do also have gaps to the upside. So if we do see this pattern come to fruition, likely we could bounce back and fill those gaps at a later date. RSI is starting to pull back due to stochastic getting a bearish cross and dropping. That VWAP does have a lower low after getting a shorter high, so I would exercise caution. As pretty much what caused this round right here. So back here, you could have seen that VWAP was starting to get indecisive and starting to struggle to hold above that neutral. When you see VWAP starting to get indecisive, that's usually when you're going to get your trend shifts. Momentum is dropping down. That money flow is remaining in the red, so I would exercise caution and watch for a strong push forward. But with the way things are looking, that may not be too probable. We may see more retracement to come. Over on XRP for the daily, we are trying to push forward, but again, we have a bit of a red candle. Momentum does look pretty flat. Stochastic is starting to round. RSI is pretty capped. And VWAP does have a lower high, and it's starting to come back down toward the neutral, so watch out for a lower low. If we see a lower low, that will bring momentum lower and cause money flow to end up breaking through. Over on the 1 hour, it looks like we tried to get a little bit of a bullish momentum, but we are starting to consolidate after a push down. Remember, that creates a bear flag, and a bear flag drops you down just like the name suggests. So we may have an invalidation of this bear flag with this current candle trying to break down and then bouncing back up. But again, wait for confirmation and watch how things look. Currently, that VWAP does have lower lows, so watch out for lower highs. If we get lower highs, momentum will continue to drop, money flow will start to weaken, and then we would see that pattern come to fruition, weakening the daily if it does not start to reverse from there. Over on Anchor for the daily, last but not least, remember, hit the like and subscribe and join us in that Discord if you have not already. But we did try to make a bounce. We are still indecisive here as well. Momentum is starting to round away. Stochastic is breaking down, RSI is weakening, VWAP is pushing down, and our money flow is in the red. So overall, that daily is not very convincing, and we are struggling to hold beyond this 20 cents. We did mention yesterday that if we can't hold this, then it is going to be more probable that we broke down. Our MPP is projecting about 1939. Stochastic is starting to round. We do have a bearish cross. RSI is starting to drop. Money flow is pulling back, and the VWAP is in bearish territory after favoring bullish with a kind of higher highs and higher lows, but that was short-lived because after we got that higher high with our higher low, we got a lower high that brought us back down. So right now, we do have more of a bearish trend forming, which will continue to drop that momentum, and if we're not careful, money flow will continue to round, weakening higher time frames and pushing us down. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe and join us in that Discord.